I have so much life force inside of me right now. It dwarfs the amount of life force that the people around me have, in such a degree that the life force inside of me is capable of overwriting the systemic united life force operating through them as a collective, whereby my amount of life force is so great that it is greater than all of them united, whereby I can see life force on a systemic level. But you understand that I don't have any ancient knowledge or whatever. There's ancient knowledge, but I'm not using that. Life force, as it suggests, all it does is keep you alive. And I'm going to try to explain that. So in some kind of frequency of the universe, you have sight and hearing. Those are the wave, magnetowave spectrum. There is a whole bunch of spectrums out there, like Wi-Fi and all that stuff, that you cannot see or register as a human. There's a spectrum where life force as a substance resides, which is an elemental something. It's elemental. It's an element. It's like element of time. The more life force you have inside of you or connected to you, you're in this universe under universal laws, and when life force is connected to you or inside of you, it's hard to define what it is. It enters your system, and your system turns into something. And with system, I mean your human body. It triggers something inside of your system, and you wake up to the game, whatever game that might be. So in ancient days, the society's game was different. It's a competitive energy. So the more life force inside of you, the more competitive you will become, because it's a competition. Social status, power, life resources, staying alive. The higher you are on the ladder, the easier it is for you to stay alive. So it's a territorial social energy. It learns you how to play the game and win the game, to get advantage over someone else who has less life force. And if society works in a sense as how it works today, when a woman has not a lot of life force, that will not enter her, whereby she won't be able to play the game by the rules, get a degree, produce something, make a reputation for yourself, get accepted by that game doesn't work. So the survivalist game starts, whereby all of a sudden the physical body and the way the dressing, the acting is to neutralize threats. Play with men in the sense that keep them under the illusion that you might be interested but never choosing. It's like being open to all but not being open. It's an illusion of being open. It's a social game. The little amounts of life force inside of them try to make them behave in a way that they will survive. It's not rational, it's not logical. In another age, women would have behaved differently to survive. It's the game. So I'm not judging if it's good or bad, I'm just saying this is what life force does. So when people form groups and you attack the group, the life force through the group, which is called a clan, people become friends and the friends bond and stuff. These life forces inside of the clan can unite as a group, whereby you peck on the group and the whole group wakes up. There are certain societies where that is normal, like in Arabic cultures. When you start pecking on the group, the whole group will show up and go like, what? And start to go into self-defense mode. So here in the West, it's more individually based, less based upon the group. The life force inside of Westerners is not that great that it can unite them, because that's how you survive. So the life force management of Westerners is pretty impoverished. Obvious, nobody knows in the West what it is, and I can describe what it is. So you have choices, and you can do the right thing, you can do the wrong thing, and that will increase or decrease your life force in a little sense. The goal of life force is to get the other person to go from a negative position to a positive position, to guide a soul to a better place. That generates a lot of life force. Doing the right thing generates life force, sure, but it's more about getting people out of chains getting people out of bondage. And I don't mean like the type of bondage most people talk about. I'm talking about addictions. I'm talking about slave mentality. I'm talking about sense of entitlement. Everything that traps a person in some kind of a mental loophole whereby you don't take responsibility for your actions and change them to go into a better timeline. So people who involve themselves in changing the timeline of people for the better take a percentage of the life force of those people, and then the inner life force rises, and then the person just becomes more competitive. It's all about competition. So if I would live in another era and this amount of life force would be in me, the game would be different, the rules would be different, and the energy would awaken me the understanding how to win the game by the rules of the time I'm living in. So the life force itself does not program or whatever the elements of success inside of me. It just engines the competition. That's the game, how to win the game. Okay, the group shows up and the energy of the group can subject the energy of the individual, unless the individual has such a great amount of life force that it can counter that. Whereby the life force inside of the people united is judging for them if it is best to lay low, to attack, it's a strategic energy. How to get out of the situation with the least amount of harm taken. You're walking around, people looking at you, you're watching away. The life force inside of you not strong enough to watch like that, because that might shorten or damage your life. And the life force inside of you makes you avoid the situation. It's not great enough. You know what I'm saying? That's a little bit what life force appears to be like when you're perceiving it like me on a systemic level.